I've been in the business now since 1994, and it's interesting because I never really thought to be a financial advisor. So I was working at a bank as an analyst, and some of my friends back then were planning a trip to Europe to backpack throughout Europe. It intrigued me. I wanted to go, so I asked the bank I was working at for a leave of absence. They turned me down. So what I ended up doing was leaving the bank and backpacking throughout Europe for about 3.5 months. When I got back, I really had no idea where I was going to land. I enrolled in a university to get my master's degree. And in the job placement center at the university, there was a position at Dean Witter, which is now Morgan Stanley. And they wanted a cold caller, someone to work with a couple stockbrokers at the time. So that kind of got me into the door. I became a cold caller for a couple advisors, and the branch manager came to me one day and said, "Hey, would you like to enter the training program as a financial advisor?" And from there, they sent me to New York, the World Trade Center. I spent 30 days there training with Dean Witter. That's kind of what got me into the business. I never came from a family that invested in the stock market. I come from an immigrant family, and my parents always more or less paid cash. They worked hard. My dad in particular came from Italy with a 5th grade education. He came to the country not knowing where he was going to work, and one thing that he's instilled in me is the value of work ethic, because early on growing up, my dad worked 2-3 jobs. There was always a struggle growing up for money. And seeing the anguish on my parents' faces at the dinner table, seeing them argue about money, it got me thinking how I wanted to help people not face those type of challenges. Fortunately, my father, after various jobs, landed with Chrysler Motors, a big 3 company in Detroit. And after working 30 years at Chrysler, although he never made a lot of money, he retired with dignity and, more importantly, with a pension. Even though my parents never made a lot of money, they never needed anything. They've always had the income coming in, his guaranteed Social Security and guaranteed pension coming in month after month. And that peace of mind that the pension and Social Security provided my dad, it really inspired me to want to help other individuals not only prepare for retirement, but make sure they have the income that they need in retirement, income that they can never outlive. I had that in mind because I wanted to help alleviate a lot of the challenges that my parents faced by being able to build a plan for my clients to make sure they never run out of money. Looking back at the struggles that my parents had, I feel like what I would tell them is they have to start to save and start as early as possible, putting money away in safe investments so that they could supplement Social Security and their pension if they have one. My dad fortunately had one.